What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. Want to thank you guys so much for coming out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button to show your support. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, we're here a little bit late today. Hopefully I can get this uploaded in time. I might not, but oopsie doodles. What are you going to do about things? We're here on the official server to talk about the new events and the new heroes. We'll talk about the new heroes probably at the end. But we'll talk about the events first. Alright, so we'll jump in here, like so. And the first thing you're going to see is the anniversary card. If you're not really a spender, then I guess it's not going to do any good. For me, this is a pretty solid deal that I couldn't really pass up. You get 3 different things for 7 days, and I believe they said it's actually available for 14 days. So even after this first one runs out, I might be able to buy it again. And if I can, I will. Because only 10 bucks, but you get gold, which is your player level, times 88,000 gold. For me, at level 141, that's 12 million gold every day. You get your player level times 8 in gems. For me, at level 141, that's like 1,100 and something gems every single day. You also get a super chip times your current VIP level, which, whatever, it's not that great, but it could give you something else, like an orb or some gold. I get 4 of those, I'm VIP 4, but whatever, it's not a big deal. The main thing is, I'm getting nearly 1,200 gems and 12 million gold every single day for 7 days. That's a lot of gems and a lot of gold, especially when you just, to jump in here to the shop. You see that $100 gives you 5,000 gems. I'm going to make over 7,000 gems for 10 bucks. So, obviously, definitely worth. As you can see, I've never actually bought any of these. I just buy the monthly card. It's my jam. But anyways, anniversary card, pretty hot deal if you're on the fence about it. I would say not a bad idea. Even if you just level 100, that's still 800 gems every day for 7 days. That's a lot. That's like 5,600 gems. It's $100 worth for 10 bucks. Not a bad choice. Value packs. Obviously, you're going to be getting gems and heroic summons because of the heroic summon event. But you also get the anniversary deals, doohickeys, the lucky commuter of coins, coins, little Lutz coins. But you get some VIP, of course, as well. But they're pretty pricey. I don't think I'll be buying any of those because I am cheap, and that is not what I do. Anniversary Carnival. Alrighty, this is where you're going to spend those little anniversary coins, little Lutz coins. The good news is, if you are a diligent person, and you have been saving your heroic summons, and you can at least get to 400 points? 400 points in the event, you can actually buy Belrain or Mihm over the course of the event. Which is usually what doesn't happen for free-to-play players. These events generally aren't super friendly to free-to-play. When you have to spend things you get because you don't get a lot of them in the campaign. But all you really have to do, okay, because you can get 2,000 from completing the heroic summon, I think, to 400 points. That's 2,000 coins. Every day you get your player level in lucky coins for 7 days. So that's, if you're just level 100, that's 700 coins. So that's 2,700 coins without counting its 0 campaign loot, 2,700. So you only got to get 500 coins from the campaign if you want to buy one of the heroes. So that's a pretty cool deal in my opinion. If you're higher level, have a little better luck in your campaign, you might be able to buy the artifact, which I'm not super stoked about. Like, it's okay. Like, speed and attack is pretty good. I'm not going to lie, it's a pretty solid artifact. But block is just butthole. Like, let's be honest, nobody uses block. It's pretty worthless. So, I don't know, it's kind of a wasted last slot on the artifact. I guess it's a little extra. It can't hurt to have a little block, but it's just not strong enough to be worth it, in my opinion. Any hoodles, if you don't want to go for one of the new heroes, the light and darks, if you're free to play, you're probably not going to be building those anyway because they take forever to build. You can buy a King Barton, you can buy a Jara, you can buy the Belrain skin, which looks, I don't know, kind of like Valentine's Day is what it reminds me of. I don't know. You could buy Mihm, the Frost Eye. Ooh. I don't know, he's kind of cool. He looks cool either way, though. And you could also buy a Jara skin, which I guess is like the Queen of Hearts. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. That's what it reminds me of. A Red Queen, isn't that in Alice in Wonderland? I don't know, I never watched the movie, but it seems right. Right, it seems right. So there's a Jara skin. You can buy a little avatar. Probably wouldn't waste it on there unless you just really like the avatar. But if you aren't going to buy any of the heroes, you're not building any of those, if you don't want to buy the light and dark heroes, your best bet down here is going to be profit orbs or heroic summons. Lucky or super chips, like I said, on official server, they're not that super. It's kind of a waste of your time. I wouldn't pick those up. Spirit, obviously a waste. Your best bets, the heroic summon and profit orbs, if you're not going to buy anything above that. I usually wait until like the last day or the event or so, see how many coins I have, and then decide from there what I'm going to actually buy. So there we go. Summon package. This is just if you pick up the light or dark hero doing your summons, or if you complete the whole event at 700 summons, which I know we'll get that in a second. But it does give you 25 orange artifact shards, which on official server, that's actually a pretty big deal. I was debating stopping at 500 on the heroic summons just because I don't need to get a light and dark hero, in my opinion. I've got them in the bag already for heroic miracles, and I probably won't be building them anyway because they take forever to build. But that orange artifact is pretty tempting, because you're guaranteed to get an orange artifact if you get both of them out. That's nice. Those orange artifacts are really, really powerful, especially if you deal with reds and exclusive reds pretty much only. Those oranges can be really nice. So that's kind of actually, it kind of tempts you into wanting to go through the whole event. With that said, we'll skip over summon for now, and we'll look at fusion event. It's fusion event. It's pretty simple, straightforward. You fuse things, you get things 10 times, then you're done ski. There you go. Pretty simple stuff. I don't know why they stopped running the Awakened Glory mission with this. There used to be an Awakened Glory event came around when you had fusion, and you could fuse up 9 and 10 stars and get extra rewards. That hasn't been around in forever. I don't know why they stopped it. It just makes sense to run that with a fusion event. So I don't know why that went, gone. I wish it would come back, but the private server still does it because they know what's up. But anyways, that brings us to the summoning prizes. Now, usually in a summon event, you get heroic scrolls as your first few rewards, and this one you don't. You actually get prophet orbs. And in total, you're going to get, I think, 25 of them. It's a lot of prophet orbs, but it's longer than usual. Generally, you get 500, then it goes to 550, and that's it. This one goes 6 and then 7. Now, I can already hear in the comments, somebody's whining about this game being pay to win. And that's kind of like a duh. Any mobile game that's worth playing that I've ever played has been pay to win. But the good thing is it's not pay to play. All right? You don't have to pay money to play the game. And you can get all the way to the end without paying money. It just takes a while. But anyways, like I said, not super bad. Just like normal, if you want to stop at 500, you can. And pick up that 5-star gear. It's not a big deal. You don't have to go and get the light and dark hero and fully complete the event to feel like you did something. You're still netting 25 prophet orbs, which is a buttload. It's like, was it a 12,000 gems? Nothing more than that, isn't it? No, that's right. It's like 12,500 gems. It's a buttload of gems just in prophet orbs you're getting. So it's never a loss. Plus, you're getting a full 5-star set, and you're getting the 5-star, not the 5-star, the 10-star replacement deals. You want to replace a 10-star eventually, and you get like 2,000 of the coins, the lucky coins for the event. So, like I said, if you just saved up and you have 500 and that's all you have, it's worth spending 500 to get that gear, in my opinion. I mean, of course, you can wait until the next heroic summon comes around and pick up the new hero that comes with it. That's fine. But I haven't decided yet if I want to go to 500 or 700. You do get a dark and light hero from 6 and 7, which is nice because it goes directly to your bag. It's in shard form, which means next heroic miracle. You've got a light and dark already in your bag, which is fantastic. I'm already set up for the next heroic miracle, I think, so I'm not super worried about it. But it does give you an orange artifact, and that's the big reason I'm kind of on the fence about, do I want to go? Do I want to get these heroes? Not to mention the biggest drawback of free-to-play is right here. Your bag space. I've only got 250 total bag space. So I've got 186 filled right now. That's like, what, 50, 60, 70-ish, 65-ish bag space I can actually use. That's not much. That is not much at all. To do 700 heroic summons when you have 65 active bag space takes a long time. Because you run like 6-10 pulls, then you gotta go to the altar. Then 6-10 pulls, then you gotta go to fusion. Then like 6-10 pulls, you're going back to the altar. It's a big micromanaging mess on the official servers because you just don't have the bag space, which is a little bit annoying. But with 625 scrolls, if I used all of my lucky coins that I get from the event to buy heroic scrolls, I could go all the way to 700. It's something I definitely could do. I'm debating just going to 500 though, and saving my scrolls for the next heroic summon event to finish that one too. I probably won't be able to finish the next one, maybe the one after that. But it'll save me back like 100 and something scrolls that I can just keep. Plus I'll be able to get a lot of fodder with 500. It won't be quite so micromanagey to do 500 summons as it will to do 700 because it's a whole 200 more summons you got to deal with. I'm thinking about stopping at 5, grabbing that 5-star set, grabbing the 25 prophet orbs, and just calling it good, and not really worrying about going all the way to 700, because I'm not going to build the light or the dark hero here. It's not really feasible on official early game. You don't even worry about it. I'm still early game on official, okay? It takes a long time to progress. So we're not going to worry about it here, but whilst we're here, we will talk about the new heroes because they are new, and people want to know about them. So we'll start here with Mihm. I don't know, it's a weird one. But this guy looks like pretty freakish PvP material with some actual PvE elements melted in there as well. So first up, we'll read his active skill. Of course, we're going 10-star only because that's how you decide if you're going to build something. You don't really care what it's good at 6-star. It's is it good at 10, right? So Mihm, the active skill Collapse Raise, deals 400% of his attack as damage to one random enemy. Right out the gate, that is a massive amount of damage. For comparison, just while we're here, Faithblade, he does 300% of his attack as damage. Okay, this guy is doing 100% more damage, but it's also going to be to one enemy instead of two. That's still a really heavy single target hit. That's not bad. If the target's in the front line, it's going to reduce their armor by 75% for 3 rounds. That's huge armor reduction, and petrifies them for 2 rounds. Again, that's pretty nasty to hit a frontline hero with that. But if the target's in the back line, it's going to reduce the target's attack by 30%. That's a really big attack debuff. And it's going to knock their speed down by 80 for 3 rounds. In PvP, that seems pretty nasty. If you're running a Gru in your front slot, or even a Sigmund if you're still doing Sigmund front slot, most people don't, you're going to destroy their armor. If you destroy a Sigmund's armor, he doesn't counterattack. Also, he'll be petrified. But like a Gru, if you knock a Gru's armor down by 75%, you're actually going to be able to hit the guy pretty stinking hard instead of doing, small amounts of damage. You saw his reduced damage, of course, but knocking that armor down definitely helps. Not to mention it's 400% of his attack as damage. He's going to hit pretty hard, in my opinion. Plus the backline thing, that's fantastic for dealing with annoying units like Demon Hunter. If you can hit a Demon Hunter and lower its speed by 80%, it's not going to be that big of a threat to your team because even your slower units will now go before the Demon Hunter, and it's not that big of a deal. So I'd say a pretty solid PvP skill kit for his active skill, but if you think about it, if you're fighting Marauder, I do believe Marauder's default position is front line. That would mean you knock their armor down by 75% with a single attack. A single attack that does a heavy amount of damage, so you might actually do okay in PvE as well for dealing with bosses. So, interesting. Definitely interesting there. First passive here increases HP by 40%, reduced damage by 30%, which is nice, speed by 60, and control immune by 100. That right there is disgusting for PvP. Okay, he's got reduced damage. Reduced damage is fantastic. It means you're not taking near as much damage. He has a pretty high HP pool anyway. He's got a base speed increase of 60. He has 1218 speed. One of the faster crowd control units in the game. Not the fastest. What's Dark Arthidol sitting at? 1188, so faster than her. I think Faithblade, 1232. He's a little bit faster. But this dude's rocking a huge speed, okay? It's faster than Valentino, faster than Demon Hunter. That's a big deal, not to mention the guy is completely immune to being crowd controlled. You cannot stun this guy, you can't freeze him, can't petrify, cannot silence. This dude right here will never get crowd controlled. And that's a big deal, especially when his attack, his active skill, hits so freaking hard and is a nasty debuff when it lands. That's kind of disgusting. I feel like that's really solid for PvP. His second passive skill here, Energy Absorbing. I don't think he actually absorbs, but whatever. His basic attack targets the enemy with the lowest HP, dealing 140% of his attack as damage, which is a pretty high modifier for your basic attack. But it's also going to reduce that target's energy by 60. Being that he's really fast, that means this guy can potentially rob units of their active skill when the first skill count comes around. Like usually you do your first battle wave, everybody's got their active skill. He's going to go before a Demon Hunter. He could smack Demon Hunter with this, and then Demon Hunter doesn't get a caster skill that turn. She's back to a basic attack. That again is a really nasty thing to pull on somebody. If someone relies on their Vesa to heal, and you smack their Vesa and take its ability to cast its heal away, that's going to hurt the team pretty hard. A lot of stuff like Valentino, sucking Valentino's energy off of him, and he's like, well, I can't cast my skill now. It's really solid, I feel like, for PvP. And PvE, I don't know how great it would be, really. Like, it sounds alright. If you can stop a boss from casting their active skill, that's never a bad thing. That means less skill damage your team's taking. The higher up you get in the guild bosses, obviously that becomes more and more of an issue. So that's really useful all around, I would say, but definitely nasty in PvP to face somebody that's draining your energy. It's really annoying. Last passive here, the Shadow Fission. Whenever any hero dies, deals 200% of his attack as damage to all enemies for 2 rounds. That sounds absolutely disgusting in PvP. I'm just going to say, that sounds horrendous. Okay, not just your team or the enemy team. If any hero dies, he's going to proc this. Now, I don't know if it stacks. If it stacks, that's going to be That's going to be horrible. That is going to be so bad to fight if it stacks. Like, if people running a Flame Strike cheese and you kill like 3 enemies off the front line in the first couple attacks, if he's going to be dropping a 600% of his attack damage over time effect, that's not going to be good news for the enemy team at all. But it seems really strong. 200% of his attack is damage just when someone dies. That's pretty nasty. That is really nasty. I mean, anyone dies. Doesn't matter who it is. If one person dies in the enemy team, he's going to drop a 200% of his attack damage over time for 2 turns. That's nasty. Like that's hard to overcome. That's a lot of extra damage coming in, especially when his active skill is such a nuke. So Mihm, I would say, is absolutely going to be one of those heroes in PvP that people start building. You won't see it on the official server, I would say, right away, because they're kind of hard to get. Big Whales, of course, will probably have him 10-starred pretty quick. But on the private server, I feel like this guy's going to start making his way into top-tier PvP teams pretty quick. I mean, crowd control immune is already a huge deal anyway in the private server, so him being able to not be crowd controlled, plus do crowd control with huge damage, damage over time, it seems pretty nasty. I feel like this guy's going to be a very top-tier PvP contender. And he actually has some PvE usage well, so kind of nice. Kind of nice for the Mihm. Let's jump over and tackle the Belrain. Belrain. Alright, so Belrain, we're in here. As you can see, she's pretty slow. She is a priest, so priests naturally are pretty slow. There's not a lot of really fast ones out there. I think the fastest one is Cruz. I could be wrong. But anyways, jump into the active skill here. Holy Light Sparkle. That sounds terrifying. I don't know. Deals 108% of her attack as damage to all enemies, so obviously not a damage dealer. Increases all backline allies' attack by 30% and speed by 30 for 3 rounds. Obviously that's PvP oriented. Anytime you buff attack and speed, mainly speed, is for PvP. Speed means nothing in PvE really, so it's not a big deal to have low speed there. But the attack boost is definitely nice in PvE. It will absolutely work there. Pretty solid. But it's Emily does a similar thing. I think her attack boost is only 20% though, so it's a little bigger of an attack boost than Emily gives. But Emily gives it to the entire team, whereas she's going to give it to your backline. Still solid PvE skill right there. The speed is very nice. Makes your crowd control faster than enemies. It's a big deal. First passive here is just a basic passive. It's for HP and attack. Quite a big attack buff. 45% increased attack. She has 31 grand, almost 32,000 basic attack. That's really high. That's one of the highest in the game. Really high base attack for a priest. But this next passive right here, the Sanctity Will. Basic attack heals 3 random allies for 220% of attack as HP for 3 rounds. That's actually a pretty solid heal, especially being a heal over time tied to a basic attack. Generally, when you get heal over time, it's because it's an active skill. Vesa and Ormus, they heal over time with their active skills. She does it with a basic skill, which means she's very good at countering like a Demon Hunter spam, where they just try to silence your team out and you can never cast a skill. She doesn't need to cast an active skill to heal your team. She can literally heal your team just basic attacking. And it's a pretty big heal. 220% of your attack as HP is a very large heal. For perspective, go over here to Vesa. Her active skill is 120% HP heal at 10 star. And she heals pretty good. Ormus, down here, his is 200% of his attack as HP with the chance to do the extra burst heal, a 30% chance. But still has 200% attack as HP with his active skill. Belrain is going to be dropping a heavier heal than that because her attack is higher than both of theirs. Not put together, but higher than both of theirs. 220% attack for 3 rounds with a basic attack. That's a really big heal for a basic attack. It's really nice. Definitely, like I said, it counters silence really well. If she gets silenced, it doesn't matter. She won't get the attack and speed buff for your team, but she's still going to heal the living crap out of them, so she still has really good use, even silenced. The last passive here is a little bit interesting. It's going to be a death skill, so when she dies, she heals all allies for 300% of her attack as HP for 5 rounds. That's a long-lasting heal, and 300% of her attack is a huge heal. Especially, that's 3,100 base. When you gear this chick up, if you put attack stuff on her, that's going to be a big deal. But it does raise a question of where you want to run her, because generally to die first, she'd need to be frontline, like your one slot to get hit the most to die fastest. But with some units like Karim hitting backline units, Faithblade with random attacks that can crit, she could be a backline unit and still get hit there and die. Okay, it's totally possible. But like I said, I feel like to get the most out of that death heal, she'd have to be the front slot, so she dies with, usually she'll die first, and puts a big heal on the rest of your team, because if she dies like second to last, that heal is not going to be quite as important as it was when you had 3 or 4 units up still. It's going to lose a little bit of effectiveness, but it's still a really big heal. It reminds me of Lutz a little bit. Lutz has a heal that's a self-heal, though. Where's he at? And it's 400% of his attack is HP for 5 rounds. So it's a big heal, kind of like Lutz has, except for it's not just going to be for Belrain, it's going to be for everybody else who's still alive. That's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid amount of healing. For 5 rounds, it's a pretty long amount of time to heal, especially if she did her basic attack before she died. You're going to be healing for 520% of her attack is HP for the next 3 rounds for those 3 units, and the rest of them are just getting 300%. So it's a really, really big heal. And the fact that it's a defensive heal makes it a little more viable in PvP. PvP in my opinion. Okay, in PvE she probably won't die unless you're fighting really heavy guild bosses, in which case you'll still have a really good heal buff for your team. The basic attack's obviously nice there, but in PvP, healers like Vesa and Ormus have gotten kind of shafted recently. I'll say it. Because they get crowd controlled so easy. Once they're crowd controlled, they can't really do anything. They can't heal. They're just probably going to die or get critted to death. This one here, even if she never gets to even cast her basic attack, even if she gets crowd controlled the very first turn and gets killed incredibly fast, it doesn't matter. Even if she dies the very first unit, never got to cast a basic attack, never got to cast an active skill, she's still on death going to heal your entire team by 300% of her attack for 5 rounds. So even if she just dies, that's all she does in the battle, she's still going to give your team a pretty solid healing buff. I feel like in PvP, that's kind of a fail-safe for her. So she's not like a Vesa where she goes and she gets crowd controlled and nuked down, that she was useless for your team. She literally did nothing. She just died. Even if this one goes in and all she does is die, she still does something for your team. So I feel like she'll be a really solid PvP healer. Not to mention her active skill does have a nice little buff for your team. The speed and attack boost is pretty nice. So I would say both these new heroes, the light and the dark, are really, really solid. On official, it's going to be really, really hard to build them unless you get really, really lucky with drops. And even then, you still got to get the 5-star foods. It's like, does it take like 36 5-stars to get a hero to 10 in one faction? I can't remember. It's a lot. But anyways, both new heroes, really, really, really good heroes. I was kind of surprised, though, to be honest, that they didn't make her the mage and him the priest. Being as there's no priest in the dark faction, and there's no mage that can go 10-star in the light faction. So, I don't know, just kind of an interesting thought I had is I don't know why they didn't do that, but they didn't. Not a big deal, just a little weird thing. But both new heroes, absolutely fantastic. The events are pretty rough. If you've been saving up, like if you only had 500 summons saved up and you're like, oh my god, this is 700, don't worry about it. Do what you can. At 500 summons, you're still pulling an entire set of 5-star gear, 25 profit orbs, and the lucky coins. Don't worry about going 600 and 700. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. If you want to save your heroic summons up and do it next time, remember, next time you're probably going to get 30 heroic summons and not 25 profit orbs. It's usually how it works out. You get 30 heroic scrolls in the beginning. So kind of weigh that out. I mean, 30 heroic summons is about, what, 3,800 gems in the Aspen dungeon, whereas 25 profit orbs, that's going to be expensive as balls. It's expensive as balls. So not a bad idea to stop and pick this up. Even if you only do 500, still worth in my opinion. I'm going to do 500 guaranteed. I'm kind of weighing doing the last 200. Fusion event's kind of nice. Build some of that golden dust up. And plus, if you're a free-to-play player, you don't have a lot of bag space. Fusion event running alongside this is kind of nice because as you pull units out, like those 4 and 5 stars and 3 stars, you should be able to actually fuse a little bit in between and make some new 6 stars for food and stuff like that. So it does run pretty nice with Heroic Summon to free up your bag space in between summons. It's still going to be really hard to record on official for me because it's going to be so micromanagey to do this. It's going to be so crazy. But anyways, that's pretty much all there is to talk about today. Anniversary card, hot pickup. If you think about spending some money, I would say this is definitely a good place to pick up one. But that's the events, that's the new heroes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure smash that thumbs up button to show your support. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well and tell your friends about it because that definitely helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one.